All right, in this episode, we talk about vertical jump.
And how it's just one piece of the puzzle to pitching velocity.
Hey, Brent Porcio, Stephen Godani. This is the @TopVelocity hashtag Pitch and Tip show, where you go to Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, you ask your question, anything on pitching or anything we do here at Top Velocity, @TopVelocity hashtag Pitch and Tips, and we're gonna answer it here on the show. Also, subscribe if you like this or like the video, share it. It helps us keep this going. We've had really good response with it, and also we need more questions, so keep those questions coming. What's the question for today?
Audric Patrick asks, how does a vertical jump correlate to velocity?
Great question, probably my favorite question. It's kind of a principle that I put in the program, that you gotta have a good vertical jump, right? Doesn't mean you can't throw hard without a good vertical jump. It just means it's an indication you have a lot of leg power. But how does it convert? Another good question. Well, if the leg power exists enough to where you can push force in the ground and go up a good amount of height. Now, this is where it does get tricky too. If you weigh 150 pounds and you jump 30 inches and a guy weighs 250 pounds and jumps 30 inches, who's pushing out more power in that vertical jump? The bigger guy. And that's really what I'm more focusing on, is the power. But the vertical jump is a place to start. But so, for example, if you're light, you're gonna have to jump higher than the bigger guy, but vertical jump is really the measurement, and is what we wanna know is improving and where we're gonna focus when it comes to getting more leg power. For example, once I get the leg power, I know in a vertical jump, it's a vertical movement. How does it get to a linear movement on the mound? That's learning how to change the vectors. And the vector we talk about is the force vector. That's the ankle to knee. That has to change on the mound. That has to move to a linear position. So yes, there is a lot of technical training on how to do that after you get your vertical jump where we want it. Also too, you're gonna find that in a vertical jump, you're not challenged by the hip abduction mobility, the internal rotation mobility, the hip flexor mobility that you have to get it into a linear position on the mound. So we might have to also go into the mobility in your hips to improve that. So then we can take your good vertical jump and get what we want out of it, which is the linear power through the lower half, which is gonna drive the hips, which is going to, if the trunk separates, drive more energy through the trunk and more energy through the ball. It's really the beginning of the chain is where we need that power production, and it starts with knowing you have it or developing it, and a vertical jump is a simple way to know it's there or to work to put it there as you improve that vertical jump. So what do you think?
Yeah, it's just one of the test measurements that we use to see if you have the leg power to be throwing hard. So like we use the vertical jump, we use the broad jump, we use the 10-yard dash. All of them are kind of just indicators of how much force you're pushing out, and it's the same kind of stuff they do in the NFL. Like that's why they test it. They want to see how athletic these guys are. In the same way, it'll show us how much power you're pushing through your lower half, and give us an indication with your height and body weight if you're going to be capable of throwing 90 plus miles per hour.
Right, and it's never one thing. It's never like, well, you got a 38, 48 inch vertical jump, you should be throwing 95. No, it means you have the beginning of the foundation to throw hard, but there's other pieces of the puzzle that have to be added to it. For example, just like in football, I jump 50 inches as a receiver, doesn't mean I'm gonna be the greatest receiver in the world. I still have to know how to cover it, or run my routes, how I have to catch a ball. I mean, there's still a lot of other things I have to do to actually take advantage of that exceptional or that elite vertical jump. So look at it that way. It's just one measurement,
one piece of the
puzzle, and it's never one piece. We need the whole puzzle, but it's the beginning. It's a great place to start. And most kids that come in here, and he'll contest too, most kids that come in here into the velocity camps have very poor vertical jumps, right? But we do have guys come to the velocity camps that have very good vertical jumps, and then they don't know how to use it, or they don't have the mobility to use it, or they don't have the motor control, they don't understand hip to shoulder separation, or they don't understand the force vector. So it's one piece of the puzzle, but it's a great place to start, and that's a great question. So if you have a question, go to @TopVelocity or @TopVelocity hashtag Pitch and Tips, post your question at Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and we're gonna answer it on the next show.
Hold on, we them boys. Peace.